Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here in Montenegro to visit, of course, the National Esports Federation to discuss various big events. Montenegro is a very serious country, one of the leaders of esports in the region, with a huge potential not only for the esports high-performance side, but also gaming and industry of technology and development. It's a pleasure to be in this beautiful city. Traditionally, I am coming from judo and karate and all kinds of physical sports. I love sports, and I am the person today who I am because of sport. In esports, I believe it's a sport of the future. Esport is practiced by more than 3 billion people on the face of the earth. We're talking about an industry of $170 billion last year. Huge business behind it, developing technologies as well, and forming the youth. I think that I need, and our team needs, to give, first of all, the recognition to the esports athletes to also be sport people, to practice sports as well in parallel, to be healthy, to practice nutrition and sociology, and to be contributing members of the society. I'm in esports because I want the esports athletes to be recognized, to be respected, and also to develop themselves into good human beings. Well, it's very simple, right? So we are in traditional life. If you go to any restaurant nowadays, you see the parents giving the children the phones to be quiet in order to have peace at the table. So we are actually teaching the youth that the game and esports is a reward for an activity. And together with the national federations, with the ministries of sport around the world, I'm positive that the game and gaming is the final motivating factor to instigate a positive change in the youth and to motivate them to do other things, to be good students, to be good people, to practice sport, to be healthy, and to contribute to society. There's no limit. The beautiful thing about esports is that we're leaving the physical plane, we're leaving the physical realm. So when we move outside of who we are as physical people, the limits start to disappear. Not only the personal limits, but also the limits of regionality, or of gender, or of religion, or of who you're coming from. We're breaking the borders of the world through esports and connecting us as people. People connected under one objective, which is to have fun, to be competitive, and to be the best we can in the future. Of course, at the same time, to contribute to the future of developing technologies, contribute to how we educate people, how we grow, how we develop, and of course, ultimately, how we do business. Esports has such a wide variance of different possibilities that it's very difficult to classify esports in one particular form. In esports, you have two polar opposites. On one side, you have pure mental dexterity wins the game, and physical aspect has nothing to do with the result. And on the other side, you have where physical aspect is the result of the game itself. So the pure mental dexterity would be chess. It doesn't matter how fast I move the piece. It doesn't matter how quick I am with my physical body. My mind will ultimately dictate my success and the result. And on the other side of the spectrum, you have something like cycling, swift cycling, where I need to cycle physically in order to reach the result, and everything in between. The majority of the esports are a combination of both mental dexterity and physical dexterity. So esports is everything from pure physical simulation, sports simulation, to pure mental, and everything in between. Now, that being said, is it a sport, is the question which is on top of everybody's mind. Today we have in the International Esports Federation 130 country member national federations. And out of those, more than 50 are recognized by their National Olympic Committee or by their Ministry of Sport, and the activity is regarded as sport. And I'll give you a reason why I truly believe why it is sport. Let's start with the definition. What is sport in general? Sport is when two people or two teams can compete against each other in an activity with rules, where the better person who's prepared is winning. So traditionally, the first sport is hunting. Before Christ, 1,000 years, us humans, we love to compete. We love to fight. We love to argue. We love to motivate each other. And the biggest successes in our humanity, in our history, always comes from this competition. If you look at the most developed cities on earth, it's because my building was bigger than yours, and eventually you made one bigger than mine, and our brothers saw ours and had to compete as well. So sport has been one of the biggest motivating factors of the development of humanity and our society. As technology has developed, sport has come from hunting with a spear to javelin tossing to Formula One with the most advanced machinery you can imagine. Esports, as we live in a technical age, is today's sport. It's the sport of today and tomorrow. It's happening now. It's the only sport that doesn't need more practitioners. It's a sport that's only growing the number of people who participate. And not only is it the sport of tomorrow, if we look at the job market, because you must think, what is a sport? It's a sport. The second part is, what is the purpose of sport? Why do I do sport when I was a kid, traditionally, or any of us? And why do we push sport to the youth? Education and preparation for tomorrow. What are the jobs of tomorrow? How do we work today? Today, people are not so much working physical labor. We have robots for that. People are working mental labor, multitasking on computers all the time, being creative, creating ideas. And by promoting esport to the youth, we're preparing the next generation for being able to be ready for the marketplace and the jobs of the future. Specifically, when I play an esport, I learn how to use technology. I learn how to be creative. I learn how to multitask, how to work with a team digitally, and of course, all the technology that I'm using to ultimately achieve a goal. Financial prosperity, success, creativity, and educating the youth. Esports is a sport. It's a sport of the future. And the people who are gaming are already doing it. It's our job to recognize it and to support it from government, to lead them in the right direction, to have good humans. So first of all, I believe that it is a sport. The International Olympic Committee ultimately will decide whether it will be included or not included in the program of the Olympic Games. The IOC has taken the direction to create the Olympic Virtual Series. So for them, they have the idea of virtual sport, meaning digital sport. Now, when I speak about the UCI, the International Cycling Federation, they do cycling, and they have Swift cycling or other games that do cycling. It's the same community. It's still people who will cycle digitally, or who will cycle around the track. The same is for rowing. The same is for a lot of other sport digitizations. If the IOC wants to reach a young demographic and they want to engage with the youth and transfer the Olympic values to make better people and better citizens, they need to include also an esports game, an actual game, and understand that esports isn't playing sport on technology. It's using technology as a sport. This is a step that will take place. I'm sure that in the future we will see in the Olympic Games as exhibition to start esports and later on as a full sport. However, that being said, the community is so big that maybe it's not in the interest of the community to be inside the Olympic Games. We see the Asian Games. The ISF organized in Incheon the first Asian Games with esports present. And now we see next year in China, in the Asian Games, a full medal event. The movement is going, but because it's so big, maybe it makes sense for the community to decide. The esports community today is split. 50% want to be in the games, 50% don't know what the rings mean. So it's a collaboration based on mutual trust, respect, and friendship. I'm sure that together we can do it.